Crude oil is one of the markets we've been talking about this year. Like this market, it's been in a good mode for trading, in my opinion, and the strategies have responded well to crude oil this year. See this massive gain in Cobra Crude today. This is not a typical move in crude oil, but a big breakout to highs here. And, I sense that crude oil will be in a strong trend. It's an inflationary environment. I think it's being discounted a little bit by everyone on Wall Street, but I think that these commodity markets are going to go into a bull market and move higher. And these are some of the strategies that can capture the moves. It's not an all or none deal. If these markets don't move higher, that doesn't mean they're doomed to failure. These strategies are not don't depend on the market moving higher. But if they do, they can capture the moves. If the market goes down, it can also be profitable. Here is a crude oil portfolio that we talked about. We talked about it several weeks ago, and so this strategy is up 2,700. Cobra Crude is up 2,700 intraday. This trade is not over, so it could roll over or it could move higher. It could stay right here. We don't depend on any one trade, although we do like outliers that are this large. It really puts us ahead. And you take a look at, if you just traded this portfolio that we talked about this several weeks ago, these 7 strategies or 8 strategies, which includes some SR counter trends and one of the Cobra Crudes. One's conservative, one's aggressive. So you have 8 strategies here, and this is just one market, so you don't have any market diversity. We like market diversity. Sometimes certain sectors are difficult to trade. Gold might be difficult, or stock indexes might be difficult, or grains might be difficult, but then a market like crude oil might do really well. And so these are the results through yesterday, March the 3rd, for this portfolio. There had been no trades so far this month, in the month of March, until today, for these 8 strategies. But today those trades will show up in here, and you'll see the Cobra Crude trade. So up 21,350. Didn't do much in 2020. This is one of those markets that was scary. It was kind of scary in 2020. You see minus 72.75. We know that crude oil went negative at the end of April. So you see this this performance that isn't really representative, although it does have some bad months. Minus $10,000 in April of 2012, and you have a down year in 2012 as well. But consistent over time, considering that you're trading 8 algos on one market, and they're mostly day trade. It's pretty good results. You see a drawdown of 14,470. A capital required about 40,000. If crude oil goes higher, the margins could go up, and it could require more capital. So you might want to trade this with $50,000 to $100,000 if you're just trading this market on these 8 strategies, and you're trading the full crude oil contract. And pretty consistent results over the years. Last year, like I said, was a down year. Not a down year, but pretty much break even. $400 is not significant. 2019, not that great either. But these things go in cycles. Markets go in cycles. You see a 4-figure year there in 2015. And so things go in cycles. You see time periods where something goes in drawdowns and doesn't perform. And then now you see it performing. And we really like crude oil. Could anticipate crude oil prices at $100 or higher by the end of the year if inflation really kicks in. Or if the opening trades as big as they say, demand could go through the roof, and supply will not be as great. So based on current legislation. So we're looking at this breakout here. Kind of went sideways. We know that in any given strategy and any given sector, you can get sideways for a time being, and then have breakouts potentially. And so we're seeing that now in this crude oil setup. And this setup is included in some of the bigger portfolios that include additional markets. So this is a Cobra Crude and SR counter trends. Once again, the way this works, you see crude oil is moving higher now. The way this works is Cobra Crude buys strength. So the buys as the market rises. And then the SR counter trends, it would include these SR counter trend systems, these SR counter trend 2V2M, 1M, 5M, and 15M minute. That's based on minutes. And you have SR counter trend crude oil 2, SR counter trend 4, and SR counter trend 3, which can hold positions overnight. So these two hold overnight. So this is 7 strategies, and then you get Cobra Crude conservative. You could also trade aggressive if you wanted, and I'll show you the results for that. But these buy dips. Sometimes when a market really gets rolling, you don't have the opportunity to buy dips. And so Cobra Crude will capture that. So there was no dips to buy in March, not enough of a dip, and the trend has to be up in the short term, and then it buys a dip. But if the trend is not up, or if there's not enough of a dip, then it won't take the trade. But Cobra Crude could, and today you see that. Let's look at this. If you add the aggressive version of Cobra Crude, you can customize this, and you go down here to Cobra Crude. AGR is the aggressive version. You add a 1 right there. We wait for the update. Let's see what happens here. And you see the gains are around the same, but will be higher after today, and the drawdown's about the same. And let's look at the results here. Your losing year goes away in 2012 if you add the aggressive version. You get better gains the last couple of years with the aggressive version, and you can see the results. Look at the drawdown curve. Fairly consistent. You can see the cycles where the drawdown curves are wider. That means it's hitting the equity peak less often, and the cycle is down, and now it's starting to hit the equity peaks. And so that's typically how markets work. They go in cycles. Systems, they go in cycles. Pretty much everything in life goes in cycles, and so crude oil is one that has started an upcycle in the way these strategies respond to this market, and this market seems to be moving higher, and would not be surprised to see much higher prices by the end of the year.